I'm Whitney. I am based in Atlanta. I am a mother of 4, all under the age of 9, between 9 and 2. I'm the founder of the Renee. And I'd just like to say we co-design is like the foundation of the work we do. Jam sessions are what we call them. And so what we take the experiences of primarily Black women and invite them to be the artists, the creators behind their own maternal journey. Everything we do is a vibe, feels good, it's joyful. We have a lot of fun. If you're familiar with Soul Train, I say we're like the modern day like Soul Train when it comes to maternal health. And we're just really having a good time. So if you are just joining us, please check the chat. This is an interactive session. We're gonna, you can also watch what we're doing on the screen. I'm gonna hand it over to my co-host, Leslie, to introduce herself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Leslie. I'm a second-year PhD student in human-centered design and engineering at the University of Washington in Seattle. And I'm actually originally from Chicago. So I'm a little sad that I couldn't be in person for the conference, but I'm really happy to be here with you all today.
So this is not one of those, don't say anything. You can come off mute. You can please get into this. It's really going to be run by you all. Leslie and I will be facilitators. If you're just getting in, please click the link to the Jamboard. Leslie, we can go to the first slide here. So if you're in the Jamboard, just a reminder that you can access your sticky notes to your left-hand side. So it's like a little square with lines. And then you can switch from one page or screen to the next at the time. So I'll be sure to remind folks if you're new to Jamboard. So, all right, let's get started. We're about to do some design work. So the really important part of this is to first understand who's in the room. So I need each one of you to please grab a sticky note. I've already created and pre-filled some of them with questions. So grab a sticky note, we'll drag it off to the side. Everything is anonymous, so people cannot see who you are. So just in case you're like, I don't want my employer to know I'm in here, or I don't want my neighbor to know I'm in here. No, we can't, there are no names. There's nothing that should be able to identify you. If you feel uncomfortable, you can leave something blank. If you're just joining us, we are on a Jamboard that's completely interactive. The link should be in the chat. If you don't see the link, just let us know. So you're gonna basically double click one of these green sticky notes and fill out the information. So are you affiliated to Chicago? Or what's your affiliation? You can be raised, born, no affiliation at all. What's your profession? Do you identify as Black? Have you experienced pregnancy? So we'll give this about 4 more minutes. And welcome to everyone. If you have questions or you've never used Jamboard before, drop the questions in the chat. We have a whole team that really wants to help you move through this process. Everything is anonymous. So people in this room, it looks like there's about 27 people. They have no idea who's typing what.
I also will add that it may be helpful for the people coming in. If after you fill out your green sticky note, you could change the color. I see some people have already done that.
Okay,
so
that's great.
Joining can differentiate from the ones that are being used.
That's a good call out. Thank you. So if you can change, if you've already filled one out, just change it to another color other than green. If you're just getting here, Ellen, okay, so let me just for the people that are new, getting into the room, Lydia just shared the Jamboard. When you click on that, at the top of the screen, you'll see a box that has number, how many slides. You'll just scroll to page 2. You'll grab a green sticky, double click or double tap or tap, whatever, and then answer the question. Let me know if that helps. Thank you, this is great. So we'll spend another 2 minutes. For people who are new, if you're just getting into the room, Lydia will share some folks just trickled in. This is a completely interactive session. So we are using Jamboard. The link Lydia will share. And you'll just kind of scroll over to the second page, grab a green sticky, answer the question, and then change the color, just so we know that it's been updated. All right, this is great. Everything is anonymous. Just in case you didn't hear that, everything is anonymous. No one can tell who's writing. You can completely lie, no one would know. We have 1 more minute on who's in the room. This is great, I love it. I see some born and raised in the South Side, no affiliation. All right, 1 more minute. One more. So the questions are affiliation, profession, you identify as Black, and have you experienced pregnancy? If you just change your sticky from green to any color, it'll let us know it's been updated. If you're just getting in the room, I think one person came in, this is a completely interactive session. It will be fun, a little bit challenging, but this part is probably one of the most important. So if you can help us out by getting an understanding of the voices that are in the room, it will inform the rest of this session. All right. Let's move on from this, because I think we probably, oh, Ellen, you want to unmute and just tell us what you see?
I have no idea. I clicked on your link and then I see slides. I'm trying to do a note. I can't do anything with it. I'll just watch, okay?
Okay, all right. Maybe on the next slide it'll be easier, because that one you'll actually click, create a sticky note. So let's not give up. We're gonna keep trying, Ellen, because I like for you to be able to participate. All right, so we're gonna move to the next one. All right, so for the sake of time, we could design a whole lot of things in this space. But being that we are here around maternal health and innovation, I've decided to narrow focus to Chicago. Now, I have to be clear, I am not from Chicago, but it just makes sense since the symposium is based in Chicago to center the work around there. So from your lens, from whether you're a healthcare professional or not, whether you're just born and raised, if you're in tech, it doesn't matter. What are the challenges? What's going well when it comes to maternal health, especially maternal health equity in Chicago? You're going to grab a sticky from the left-hand side, and you're going to write anything you want. So if you grab a sticky note, make sure you're on page 3 of the board, grab a sticky note and drop it under whichever column. And I want to invite you to do what I call a brain dump. So don't think too hard. Don't say, oh, someone's going to think this is stupid. Put any and everything, or I have no idea. Drop everything that comes to your mind on the challenges. If you're not from Chicago, that's fine too. Type out things that maybe you think would be challenges, or maybe from your lens of the world, if it's maybe a challenge in Chicago. We're not going to worry about being PC. You are anonymous. So what are the challenges and what's going well around maternal health?
And feel free to repeat anything, even if what you're going to say is listed on a sticky note. Just continue to write your answers.
For the people that just joined, we have moved along, but we are doing a completely interactive design session around the challenges around maternal health in Chicago. So if you wanted to join, the Jamboard link is in the chat, and you'll simply scroll over to the 3rd page and type out what are the challenges that you feel like may be happening or what's going well. I also love the what's going well part, because the work that we do at the Renee is not to beat everyone on the head with a disparity, because people don't like naturally think of themselves as a disparity. And so we want to be able to give balance here. So again, what are the challenges around maternal health is the question, or what's going well around maternal health in Chicago? I see implicit bias, unrealistic expectation for mothers, agencies and organizations working in silos, white supremacy and racism. Yeah, so you kind of know the things that are happening, but not the right actions associated with it. Limited policies to support Black maternal health. This is great, keep it coming. We have a few more minutes. This is great. So if you're just joining, we are doing a brain dump, so getting out as quickly as possible. And what the challenges, if it starts to fill up or you're covering another person, that's fine too. And so let's see, having a better resource for understanding available. Physicians treating pregnant women as a vessel instead of a person. These are completely anonymous. So say what off the top of your heart, right off the top of your head, what you think. Many don't want change. Maybe rocks the boat. Yeah, unrealistic expectations from others. So what we're going to do is find a theme here. And feel free to come to unmute yourself if you are reading this and you are seeing a thing like, hey, it really seems like we're sharing a lot about fill in the blank. What's going well? Raise national attention to the maternal health crisis. This conference, yeah. People seem to be starting to understand the importance of focus on maternal and child health. More meetings to get to the root of the causes. I think that limited policies to support, yeah. Does anyone want to jump in the chat or unmute and kind of give some color if they feel like there's a theme here? I'm seeing something over and over again in either side. Representation matter. Lack of training of nurses. Yeah, have a better resource for understanding the resources. Women are understanding that the doctor that okay, that they can shop around for a doctor. Getting like-minded organizations to work together, agencies and organizations working together. I'm kind of seeing that one several times. Again, this is interactive. Unmute or in the chat. What are you thinking are some things here? One that is someone unmuting?
Yes. What I think is that, like people were stating, that the organizations working together, no one really wants to work together to actually come up with a solution. You know, you have so many different programs, and they want their program to be affiliated this way, or this program wants to be affiliated this way, but none of them want to actually work together for the common good.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too. There's this very disconnected system within an already broken system. Funding, yeah. Oh, thank you, Leslie. Are you grouping them?
Yeah, I've been trying to group them.
Yeah, this is perfect. Let's spend one more minute because I'm going to lean on you all to choose which thing we go with moving forward. So there's a lack of congruency within organizations, you know, people just like in silos. There's the funding. There's a lack of support, which could also kind of go into resources. What do you think, Leslie?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I see threads of lack of representation as well. And then also this theme down here about unrealistic expectations for mothers, or not listening to the mothers or birthing people. Yeah, not focusing on
And then what about over here in the what's going well? If you're just joining, sorry, I saw like one or two people. We are doing this very fun interactive session on designing something for Chicago. Not everyone in here, including myself, is from Chicago. And so we had a first exercise of like who's in the room. And now we're going through from your lens, whether you're from Chicago or not, live in Chicago or not, visited, whatever. What are some of the challenges around maternal health and what's going well?
I think some threads through, well, the largest thread through what's going well is awareness, whether that's at the governmental level or individually, such as like people in attending the conference.
Yeah. So let's take a minute here to narrow this down on what things we're going to do for the next. So obviously all of these are extremely important. The reason, what I love about co-design is all of us come from very different walks of life, very different experiences, but usually you can pull out commonalities amongst like everyone's opinions, right? And so we could go either way. I would really like for the audience, the people in the room, to decide. We could choose this, we could put a stake in the ground with what's going well, which is around the kind of awareness. You know, we're seeing an increased awareness, national organizations, conferences, symposiums around this. We could do that one. Or we could choose a challenge. And so those look like funding or lack thereof, implicit bias, lack of diversity, racism in the system. That would be number 2. The lack of connectedness in agencies. or lack of community within those spaces, and then lack of support / resources. So if you don't mind, in the chat, choose the one that off the top of your heart or your head feels like, oh yeah, that one really resonates with me. So again, under what's going well is the increased awareness. What's not going so well, limited funding. Lack of diversity of providers, or just racism and bias within the system. Disconnect or agencies working in silo, so there's no real community. And then number 4, lack of support and resources. If you could just chat a theme, drop it in the chat. Which theme do you personally, don't think about anyone else, like just you, what do you want to say? We can do this in 1 minute. Okay, thank you, Kate. Lack of support, agencies working in silos. And if you need me to say them again, I can. Or Lydia, if you don't mind, we just want people to choose a thing. So again, under the challenges, that's lack of support. It's number 1. Agencies working in silos is number 2. Number 3 is limited funding. And number 4, bias, lack of diversity. Biases and lack of diversity. And then number 5, because it's under what's going well, is awareness. Awareness around the issue. Okay, thank you, Renee. Working in silo. Anyone else? Come on, y'all. Which theme like really speaks to you? Or which theme are you curious around moving forward on in this exercise? Okay, Hannah, working in silo. I know 3 more people. Lack of support is 1. Working in silos is 2. Lack of diversity and bias is 3. Limited funding is 4. Or increased awareness, and we're happy about increased awareness. 5. Give folks. I think we're doing really good on time. Working in silos. Anyone else have a theme? Or is everyone just like, we just like all the things? That could be it. We just open all the things. This process is called narrowing. And so the narrowing is sometimes the hardest part because someone could feel really connected to one thing, another person could too. And so how do we come in agreement and pick something? So usually there's kind of a voting process, but due to the time constraints and just Zoom and not want to throw a whole lot of technology at people, would love to give like maybe 1 more minute if anyone else wants to kind of throw something in. If not, we're going to do working in silo. All right. I think that's it. Okay. Working in silos it is. So let's get into it. Working in silos is the primary thing that people felt like we really want to work on for this exercise. So what does that look like? Now we could have said, hey, a major problem in Chicago is that organizations are siloed. And then we could have just thrown some solutions at it, right? This exercise is going to pull out the why. What are some of the pains or joys? I doubt there are any joys, but what are some of the challenges around working in silos? I, as a facilitator, don't want to bias you towards something, so that's what I'm not saying, giving you examples. But working in silos, what are some of those problems around working in silos? Why is this an issue? If you could grab a sticky note from the left, make sure you're on page 4, and then add your, off the top of your head, so don't think too much, just get it on the board. What are the challenges or the pain points around working in silos? Communication and care coordination limited, yes, thank you. Turnover, I bet. Expertise is not collaborated. Yeah, these are great. And so we're gonna, lump these as well if we start to see things. Assuming no one else is working on the issue. Yeah, and design a whole, so recreating the wheel. Thank you, this is great. So what are the challenges around working in silos? Why is it a problem? And if you don't think it's a problem, what do you think the good thing about working in silos is? Maybe you're that person out there. This is anonymous, so people can't identify or connect you to your note, your sticky note. All right, so some funding, lack of transparency. Yeah, these are great, keep them coming. No wrong answers. Wasting precious time spent on something that somebody else may be able to help with. Yeah, recreating the wheel is like a thing here. If you want to unmute or drop something in the chat, feel free to do that. Improper or not enough training for current or new people to know their roles and others. The team is not utilized properly. Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, this, the importance of relationships, and so having relationships begets more relationships, creates more relationships, maybe even stronger relationships. Folks with lived experiences not being compensated for their time, expertise. Woof. A whole word. The head of the company never wanting to address the real issues, or your way and experience doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah, these are great. Working smarter, not harder. Yeah, I really love this. You all are nailing this. Let's start to think about themes. Since that one took a little bit for us to move beyond. Okay, so Leslie, what are you saying?
Lack of transparency, or lack of diversity in expertise or opinions. I feel like this section here is all about the needs of the community, or like lack of those needs being met. Funding. This one is all about like communications of the organizations, or of the organizations, miscommunication between them. And that causes a sense of competition or fighting to be the best organization instead of creating the best solution. Lack of collaboration or lack of coordination. And then for the joys, opportunity to provide more resources, different organizations being able to offer different specializations or expertise.
Yeah. Which do you think we have the most sticky notes around? I think that would be easier than asking folks to kind of, we'll just go with whichever one has the most, which theme has the most sticky notes.
Yeah, I think communication between the siloed organizations.
Yeah, it seems like there's this redoing of what's already been done, not under like, and if again, if people want to unmute or chat and dive into it, if you were one of the people who put a note around kind of recreating the wheel, weird sense of competition. Yeah, it's just I'm getting one of the pain points of working in silos is this is people are how do we say this? I don't know, I'm gonna say it and just say it. We're not moving forward, or we're moving forward slower or with a less united front. Would love someone else to add color to that if you put a sticky note around this kind of middle section.
It kind of reminds me of the quote, if you want to go fast, go along, but if you want to go far, go together. But yeah, I don't know how to make that concise either.
No one wants to acknowledge that others need to be doing something helpful that we can change. Communication and care from limits of our separate technology system. But some of this, yeah, the head of the company never was doing the same thing as different organizations. Yeah, so you know what? Like even just for the sake of time, I think that we say one of the pain points here is the recreating the wheel. So let's solve for this. Let's solve it. So we just let me start you off from what just happened. We identified one of many things. One major thing on my computer. We just identified one major thing that we feel could be an issue or challenge in Chicago. Our next step was to really do a deep dive into that. What are we saying? A theme is very general. What are some of the pain points that is under that theme? So our theme, we working in silos. We think that one of the challenges about working in silos is that people are recreating will. So that's maybe with some resources, not collaborating so that we can move further faster, with more, with the least amount of effort, like things like that, right? So how might we address recreating the wheel? What are ways that we can solve for this pain point? So similarly, you want to grab a sticky note on the left-hand side and make sure you're on slide 5. You all are doing great. It's only been that long, so we have about 20 more minutes. And so we're just getting to the really, really good part. So now what are the solutions? The part that sometimes we want to jump to, we're doing now. What are the solutions to addressing recreating the wheel? I'm gonna grab the sticky note and I'm going to join from my phone. My computer is dying. So how might we address recreating the wheel now that we're thinking about solutions? How do we, this is an issue. What do we need to do to address that? Right, this is great. All right, I'm going to all right. Leslie, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Technology worked for me today. All right. Okay. Yeah, so, okay, so here we go. Get into it. Share plans across like-minded organizations, create a master plan. I like it. Community advisory boards, making collaboration more accessible. Creating an open and consistent line of communication. Acknowledge that what many consider innovative. Work is probably being done elsewhere. It can be learned from. Yes. Kind of leveling that playing field. Like we don't all have to start at 0. We can come in a bit higher. Share wins and challenges across organizations. Yeah, these are great. Map current services. I think people share their work. It just doesn't go viral. So this is good and it's good. It's not sure. Okay, yeah. How do we share work in ways that people actually get the info? Absolutely, because if you don't know it's happening, well, you don't know it's happening. I wish each organization had designated silo breakers, someone whose job is just to focus on finding common ground with other organizations. I like that. Investing in conferences and other knowledge sharing spaces. I am hearing strongly kind of share outs, right? Like we need spaces, people designated to holding the line, making sure things, the wins, one company or the challenges that people are experiencing are shared so that others are become aware of them. Advocate for funders to give larger sums to collaboration versus small grants to individual orgs. Oh, wow. Kate said, I love what someone wrote, starting with the premise that we all want the same thing to help moms. Absolutely. Naming it, hey, are we recreating the wheel? Yeah, sometimes it's about calling a spade before we start initiatives. So before we start projects, are we recreating this? Who's already doing this? Which then goes back to the share out. We need people to share what they're doing so that we can find them. This is great. I think people share their work just as services anymore. Because I think we have one more thing. I think it will take us home. This is great. Y'all are doing an amazing job. Yeah, giving funding going to existing collaborations. So it's not recreating new collaborations in the same space. Absolutely. Jamie is saying yes to these community advisory boards. Listening to the people we serve. Yeah. That's really interesting too, that thought of we can address recreating the will by going to the community, listening to the community. That's really, really interesting. I also want to just pull out, we'll do that in the next one. We'll do it in the next one. Okay, ignore me. I get excited. Okay, anything else? Sharing wins and challenges. Yeah, like this left side is strong, share out. Get it out there. This middle feels, maybe similar. I want to land on like a very specific action, like which sticky is it? There's like we can take this and create an act like it's actionable. Actually, I think most of them are, so we just need to choose which one is actionable and feels right. And typically in these narrowing, it's easier to kind of vote. People just go around and vote, and then one stands out. But we are in the day of Zoom, so we're just gonna go with our gut. Chat is open, unmute if you wanna say something. Okay, Leslie, what are your thoughts? What's an actionable solution to recreating the challenges of recreating the wheel? Other pain point around recreating the wheel.
Yeah, I think creating something that across organizations is what's actionable here.
Mm-hmm.
to inform each other of what the organizations are doing and also open up a line of communication for collaboration. And then here, I feel like mapping current services may be something that's more, or could be more public facing. So including the community and allowing the community to also be able to see this map. And also a way to communicate to funders that like, oh, this work is happening with this organization. Can we, you know, partner with them? Or this collaboration has already been going on for years. Like, can we put funding towards that?
Definitely. Anyone in the audience have a strong inkling or opinion about any of this? Or are we all just kind of neutral? Silence doesn't bother me, by the way. So I'll let you sit and think. Oh, Hannah, Lydia, well, I don't want to put you on the spot, Hannah. I think we do. I just think that you have to be given, Lydia will have to, okay, get you like in the right spot. So you can now, Hannah, if you like to say something.
Hi, this is Hannah. I'm with HRSA and I'm working currently on some maternal health projects, and really just I really hear this idea that what we classify as innovative or new or novel is often being done elsewhere. And so I think that's something that we really try and keep in mind as we're structuring funding and programs, and how can we incorporate community voice and patient voice and the voices of people who have been working in this space as upstream as possible. So I think all of these thoughts are really helpful from a federal perspective, and we think about how we can structure this in a way that's most beneficial for everyone. And thanks for letting me off mute.
Yeah, I'm glad you said something. Yeah, that's really interesting from your lens of like what's happening as a funder. There's been quite a bit like directed, or working with a funder directed towards you, not you, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I mean, I would just say I'm only, of course, one voice, but we do hear advocacy groups when they're saying these sorts of things. You know, we might not always have the power to enact it to the degree that we would like, but, you know, I know how that feels sometimes, to feel like you're saying it and it's just being, you know, said out to the universe and nobody's listening. But, you know, I think groups like this, it's really helpful to hear, and we do our best to communicate it in a way that's compelling enough to actually affect change.
Oh, someone just noted funders should work together to align grant opportunities. I'll
And
just
a comment.
get on a high horse. Oh,
Oh,
there's a
I'm
comment.
sorry. Yeah, there was a comment in the chat, another comment.
No.
Aviva mentioned
Aviva.
naming it stood out to me. I'm an employee at a larger national org, and part of why I'm here is to make sure I'm bringing expertise to the org so that we can better collaborate and use our resources to support community-based organizations.
Absolutely. So what I was going to say, but Aviva said it better, is that I do hear, as a community-based organization, I do hear a major pain point is, oh, the funding goes to all of the bigger players. Well, what about us? We've been working with the community for X amount of years. We know our people. Why are we constantly overlooked? Like, I do hear that a lot. Thank you for that, Aviva. Well, in the interest of time, I like to move to our last slide. And so actually, we may need to go to the second one just to like kind of get a quick understanding of the people that were here. So we have some really solid things, right, to work on. So let me level set and get us where we are. So we could have come into this saying, hey, Chicago has maternal health challenges. What should we do about it? Which some of us may do in our boardrooms or at home or in our community. Hey, we need to like just throw some things at the wall, see what sticks. And so understanding there's a problem, hey, Chicago, what's going on? Let's do some solutions. Instead, this is what we did. We said, instead of choosing something to throw at the wheel or at the wall, let's be a little bit more intentional around our efforts, right? And so that way we know where we came from and how we landed here. So if any part we're missing something, we know where we came from. We know the steps to get here. We can make tweaks along the way. So know that I'm in tech and I build software for a living. And so in our world, innovation moves quickly, right? And so we don't really have time to throw something at the wall to see if it sticks without understanding if we do this lever or this lever, we're impacting this person or taking this risk for this reason. So who's in the room is important because where we landed is 100% dictated by all of you who said something. Just going over this, and I would like for everyone to really just kind of sit and reflect and listen to like some of the personas in the room and think about who you think may have been missing from this. So we have it's, no affiliation in Chicago, no affiliation in Chicago. And again, like if we had more time, I would have been able to like give some quantitative kind of data to this, this percentage of people were affiliated with Chicago. I do see one person born and raised, two born and raised, a new resident, someone was raised here. It looks like primarily people are not affiliated with Chicago. So Leslie, you feel good in saying like majority of people in this room who participated are not affiliated with Chicago?
Yes, for the most part. Or some people may have like visited.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, let's talk about profession. Health department, child welfare attorney, program manager, project officer, dietitian, physician, there's one affiliation. Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I was just saying community health specialist, behavioral health coordinator, public health nurse, administrator at LHD. I'm not sure what that is. RN.
Yes. Yeah, PhD student, technical assistant, and a national nonprofit. Okay, so I don't know the category, but these do feel Tamala, I hope I said Tamala, I apologize if I said it incorrectly. Community engagement director. Chicago through and through. Yes. Okay. So these do feel kind of similar as far as professions. I'm not hearing like an artist. I'm not hearing a muralist. I'm looking at a mural right now. Very beautiful. A muralist or hospitality type folks. So just want to call that out. Do you identify as Black? Let's see. No. Yes. Yes. It's feeling mixed. It's feeling about half and half here.
Yeah, I think there are 7 yeses. And there are 20 sticky notes. So
Okay.
7, 13, it seems like.
All these kids. I think you're the one, if you could come with me, but you're the one that I saw the first sticky that said it has 6, was it 6? Yeah, I have 6 children and that's all it said. I was like, that would be me. Totally bypassing what the assignment is I just need y'all to know I'm here and I have 6 kids. I have 4, but I'm sure like, just, yeah. I hear you. And then, okay, so do you think we're about half and half?
For Black or experienced pregnancy?
Experienced or Black, sorry.
Black is 7, Black and 13 are answered no.
Okay. Okay, so well let's move on. I don't know that we'll have a whole lot of time to like actually do this last part, but if you don't mind going to that second to last. Well, we can actually, we'll just go all the way to the last and I just invite people to unmute. This is just like a plug if this was interesting to you, if you have organizations, and we have been all over doing this with folks like Duke and UCSF, wearable tech company, all of that jazz. Have invested in jam sessions to better understand something. So hit me up. Okay, so if people don't mind unmuting, I think we have like no time. Who was missing from this conversation? Who have we alienated? Have we built something that really works for us as like program managers and directors? Did we think about this process for the actual people? How do we not, how does it hurt the people that we are serving? Did we create solutions for them? Do they care about share outs? All right, like, so anyone want to unmute or chat, say 1 or 2 things before we close? Thank you all for coming, by the way.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, this is Tamla Malayan Alexander. I wanted to just say my pet peeve has always been we don't have enough lived experience and family advisors in these rooms. I think when you use the word design, you have to designate that with having those who are experiencing these systems. I feel like oftentimes even though we've been particularly or maybe on both sides of the fence, there is still things that are happening today that's being influenced by what's happening today. And so, like, I had 6 kids, but that was 20 years ago. So today it feels like we have to designate a certain percentage of folks who are navigating these systems to be a part of these type of sessions and these symposiums and these seminars, that they have a safe space to also bring their thoughts and ideas to this work.
What's one group of people that you feel we've missed today? Like if you could just say that one group that I think is missing from this.
Black pregnant mothers.
Okay. Thank you.
That may have experienced a doula. I mean, that can, and we've seen that earlier in the sessions when somebody, they talked about having a doula and it led to them going into this work. But what does that look like today as well? How can we bring the folks that we are supporting and helping, how can they engage us in conversation as well?
Thank you. Yeah, no birth workers. I don't think I saw any on that. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else? Had an aha moment. Oh wow, we designed this, and but we did not hear or have representation from. Oh, you're welcome, Kate. Well, I think we are at time. I really, really appreciate you all joining, and would hope that this at least gets us to think about a few steps before we create solutions, and to be mindful of the people who are creating the solutions and how the people who are in the room actually affect or influence the design of a thing that we put out into the world. And if we are going to have these spaces that don't include the community or folks, to realize there will be repercussions of that. And we always have to just prioritize, right? Prioritize whose experience. Like it just is, it's the way that we are effective. I think it's the products and services. And we're in a time where everything we put out needs to have some kind of benefit for the people we serve. Unless anyone has something else, that's it for me.
Thank you everybody
Leslie.
for participating.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Lydia.